You're listening to Real Talk All Sport on Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook too. If you're watching on YouTube on Mr. B Productions -WAL.
Something wrong with you, man. Tell you now, boy. There's something wrong with you.
It doesn't quite suit. Is it?
Take the headphones off and then it'll be even better. Just give them a little look. How
about that? Look better?
JR Sewing, we'll call you.
I think cowboys are quite cool.
Yeah.
But there must be something slightly wrong with this.
Yeah, again, you don't get that joke, do you? JR Sewing.
Don't have a clue who that is, I'm sorry, no. He can either be a cowboy,
you know what I mean?
a cowboy, an artist, a sports person, or a movie actor.
He's an actor from a program called Dallas, which was...
I've heard of Dallas.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's okay. Thanks, great. I don't feel too old.
No, I know. I have heard of it.
J.R. Ewing was the bad boy oil... He had the oil refineries, and it was all based around oil and families and whatever.
Did he have a pink cowboy hat as well?
He used to have a white cowboy hat, but I don't think he ever looked as... you could maybe pass for a little Bobby Ewing or something like that. Or Bobby Sewing, we'll call it.
Bobby Sewing.
Well, you got the stitching
I
around
know.
it,
I tell you what, for a random nightclub at about 11 o'clock, it's a pretty well made hat.
So why don't you tell our listeners and viewers why you're wearing that lovely pink?
Yeah. Isn't it so funny the fact I'm wearing this jersey and it hasn't even been noticed yet because of this.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's like when you had the hat on as well, on top of the headphones, your head looked like it was, alien-like. So
proper Megamind head.
So why don't you tell everybody why you're wearing the pink hat?
So on the weekend, it was my stag do, Nath. It was possibly the best weekend of my life.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It's supposed to be your stag do.
It was so good. So we talked about it earlier on the last pod. Went to Euston Station in London.
Yeah. Love this.
Waited for the 3 p.m. kickoff to take place.
Yeah.
And wherever the 3 p.m. kickoff first goal happened to occur, we were going there.
And it was...
We went to Doncaster.
Donny.
We went to Donny.
Yorkshire.
And there was so many things that could have gone wrong in this journey in terms of getting to London, in terms of who's going to score, how you're going to get to the place where you're supposed to be going.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a good night out, if you can find accommodation, if you can... Biggest probably hurdle is if you can afford the train to get there.
Yeah.
Because trains are really expensive.
Ridiculously, by the way.
And we put some ideas in our head. So with the 3 p.m. kickoff, if it was somewhere kind of Cumbria, Lancashire, Manchester, anything like that, maybe we'll coach it and then train it. Mm-hmm. But we'll also have a look at trains. But 3 p.m. kickoff, kicked off. We were in a pub in the Euston Station. We got a table to ourselves with a TV, bought ourselves a pint, got ourselves a shot for when the first goal was about to go in. And I was predicting probably first goal, I would think around about the 5 to 7 minute mark.
30 seconds sometimes, mate. What was it?
Rob Street, 14 seconds into a game against Swindon Town in League Two, scored a really good finish, mine.
Yeah.
Scored in 14 seconds. And so we were like, right, we're off to Doncaster.
Yeah.
And so we went straight onto Euston Station, had a look, no trains there, went to King's Cross.
Yeah.
Doncaster, which is quite far away.
Yeah. Yorkshire.
£20 for a ticket, an hour and a half to get there.
You're not going to London, see? You're out in the south, mate. That's the problem. As soon as you go north,
I know, it was amazing.
ticket prices change.
But we obviously went there.
Yeah.
As 5 Cardiff fans. We don't know anything about Doncaster. We've never been to Doncaster before.
Yeah.
We don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And
lovely people in Yorkshire, mind.
The people, And you always say about when you go up north, the people are some of the best people. And we've had that with our like Bolton fans that have got in touch, the Sheffield guys.
Yeah.
On the train journey there, we got a call from the hotel we booked at the station saying, sorry guys, we actually have overbooked. You need to find no room at the inn. You've got to find yourself another place.
Little donkey.
And so we ended up getting another hotel, which was right on Doncaster Racecourse. It was like the Hilton Hotel in Doncaster Racecourse. Still reasonably priced.
Yeah.
It was literally on the racecourse.
Yeah,
so
I think I know it.
You go outside and the garden was the racecourse. It was beautiful. So then we got there, decided, right, we're going to have a night out here. Went to a local pub, was there for a little while till about 10:30.
And at night?
At night, yeah.
So you've been drinking since 3 in or prior? You were drinking on the train up to London?
We had a few on the train as well. Like
so
a few
were
tins.
you a bit worse for wear now?
Not really,
because you were taking your time.
We were taking our time. We did like a little quiz on the way to the to Doncaster as well. We had some food at the pub, and it got to about 10:30, and we were like,
"Good idea, food. Lining that stomach, mate."
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had a steak and kidney pudding.
Yeah, I made that mistake once or twice.
And it got to about 10:30, and we were like, "Man, we are flagging."
Oh,
10:30. It's like, okay, right.
I thought you were young.
I know. I thought we were young as well.
Trying to brag to me earlier how old you is.
And so then we're gonna have some sort of like thing to pick us up. So we had a Skittle bomb, which I've never had before in my life.
Okay, that's when those shots, right?
It's like a Jaeger bomb.
Yeah.
But instead of Jaeger, which is minging,
it was sweet.
It was cognac.
Okay. Oh, you're coming into my world, kid. Did it
I'm
give
growing
you the
up
old
now. Yeah.
Tyson blow, was it?
So it was cognac and Red Bull, so a Skittle bomb, so it tastes a little bit like a Skittle sweet. And then we leave the pub, we go to this other bar, which had some music going on, but we walk in. As soon as we're about to walk in through the doors, bouncer comes out, goes, "Guys, no point you coming in because it's too busy and we're closing in like 5 minutes. Last order's been called." So we're like, there's nothing open. Like, what are we going to do?
And what time is this? 10:30?
About 10:30.
Yeah, but you know what, Dav? Just let me interject. There's the nightlife isn't what it used to be in these places. So when I lived in Chesterfield, unbelievable night out.
Not too far from Doncaster.
No. Sheffield, great night out. Barnsley was a good night out. Donny was a great night out. But they had a reputation for being a really good night out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so that's what we thought, because a lot of places that would have been the circumstance. We then went to the bouncer, went, if we were to carry on the night, where should we go? And the bouncer
Sheffield.
The bouncer goes,
Leeds.
Go down that alley, take a left, take a right, and then there should be some places there.
Okay.
And so we're like, all right, thank you very much. We go down this alley, kind of like bike racks, big long walls, no lighting. So we didn't think we were expecting anything big. We then turn a corner, and the only way I can describe it, it was like a Magaluf strip.
Yeah, that's small, Donny. That's all I remember.
Only way it reminded me of, like, I went on holiday to Tenerife once, where the bars are all lined up against each other, but then they don't have doors. They just have they're just gaps.
Yeah.
And that you go in.
Yeah.
And that's what they had.
Love, you've lived a sheltered life.
It was amazing. And so
you've never been on those trips and I've been in that or what have you? You call food.
My mates all went to Magaluf, but I went to Brazil instead. So
okay.
I went
sensible.
I went to the proper clubs in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
But it was like being abroad.
Yeah.
And so we went in, found a nice country bar, played country music all night. So we were there for a good few hours.
Were you line dancing?
We were trying to. It wasn't. I can't say it was very good, but we had a few drinks there, listened to some country music. It was a good way to start the night. And then we went to maybe like 4 different clubs after that. No, we did well.
What time did your night end?
I got
a proper night is 3 plus o'clock.
5:45.
That's a proper night, dude. That's a proper night. And did you end with like a kebab or something like that? The soca
Doner and
ball?
chips.
Oh,
It was fantastic.
now you're coming to my era. Classical.
Well, it was one of the best weekends. So I was born in the wrong time, obviously. But I walked into to my roommate being like, with my Doner and chips. He'd ended the night a bit early.
Oh, the smell.
And
the
I
next
was there.
day.
He was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And
You
I
have
was
to do the soca ball cognac.
Oh, and it was gorgeous at the time. But it was also just with Doncaster, we did no preparation whatsoever. But every time we needed something, it was there. We were like,
do you know, we used to say, me and my boys used to say, when a night starts badly, it ends up being one of the best nights you'll have.
That's exactly what happened.
Right.
And it was so good. Like there was no aggro.
Mm-hmm.
The places were quite busy. So it was busy enough that it was fun.
Yeah.
But everyone was there for a good time. And they'd hear us and be like you guys are from Wales. Why are you in Doncaster?
Yeah.
We'd explain it's because Rob Street scored a 14-second goal.
Yeah. So that lends itself to people being even more welcoming.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They were so welcoming, so friendly.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit disappointed that you didn't ever spend any of the time in your career there as a player.
But at Sheffield you get around, right?
Yeah.
So you get the Barnsley, Donny, Leeds, Chesterfield, Nottingham, Derby. Those were, and then over the other side of the Pennines in Lancashire, you then got like Manchester, Liverpool. Where else have I been? Southport, Blackpool, Preston, Blackburn. So yeah, I know a few spots, mate. I know a few spots.
Amazing. And then the next day, I honestly was feeling all right. It was so good that I was,
because you didn't go stupidly fast and wreck yourself.
No, we didn't.
You almost drink yourself sober.
Yeah, and so we were great. And then we turned up to Doncaster Rovers Stadium because we wanted to get a nice picture outside the stadium.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons why we're there is because of that club. We walk in, and the person at the club shop, so not even like someone who runs the club,
just the club.
Sometimes club shops are volunteers. Sometimes it's that, and the guy goes, "We're expecting you guys here." I was like, "Oh, mate, that's so cool." What do you mean? He went, "Right, come on, I'm going to get my colleague."
Yeah.
And his colleague from Doncaster Rovers came up to us and went, "Right, should we take you pitch side?"
Yeah.
I was like, "You're joking." As they took us pitch side, really nice stadium.
Lovely stadium.
And thinking about it, Doncaster has only been a city since 2022.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable.
One of the latest, yeah.
It has football, women's football,
rugby
league, rugby union.
Yeah. Men and women.
All those different clubs for what is only a recent city. Yeah. They really hold their own. And in a like really nice 15,000 seater stadium. And it was great. And they were just, there was nothing pretentious about them. They were so welcoming.
You won't in the north, I keep telling you.
Yeah.
You don't get that sort of, what you see is what you get in the north. Yorkshire, Lancashire, I spent years at both sides of the Pennines, and yeah, great people, man. Great people. So you're rocking the Donny shirt, yeah?
This is Doncaster's fourth kit.
Okay.
It's their foundation. Like, it's really cool. Like, fourth kit. Do clubs need a fourth kit? Maybe not, but it's a foundation kit. So it's with the Doncaster.
Ah, yeah. So like county in the community.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we actually, I know the people at the foundation, or I used to. Just another great charity.
Yeah.
You know, do so much for the community.
And so I was like, that's the kit I need to have.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really like it because it's got that sort of retro look as well.
Yeah, and I like the way you've got the larger size so you don't show your belly.
yeah. From my doner kebab and chips.
Yeah. So it was a great weekend though.
It was amazing. So like a massive...
Has it made you want to go back with the missus at some point and spend maybe a weekend sightseeing, or back with the boys?
We need to cancel the venue for the wedding and go back to Doncaster, Doncaster's ground.
Wedding there. yeah, get married on the pitch and all that.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, I would honestly go back there again.
Yeah.
Because we've got such fond memories. The only thing that wasn't so fun was getting back to Cardiff. That was brutal.
Yeah, but I mean, you take that after a great weekend, right? It's all part and parcel. If you've had a
was
great
amazing.
Weekend, the journey home, doesn't matter if it takes an hour or 10 hours, you know, it's part of you don't really want a great weekend to end, do you? So it's...
if you ever want to go into management for Doncaster Rovers, if you ever want to...
I'm sure I've got a friend, Frankie Sinclair, I'm sure he's youth team manager there.
I'll be his assistant.
Yeah.
I will pack up, move, and I would happily be like an assistant manager for Doncaster. I think I'd do a great job at this. I'd be a great assistant, not a manager. I'd be a great assistant manager. Like a good guy like that. I'll do what you want, and I'll bring the good time and the love for football.
Yeah.
So, but if you want to do it, I'll join you, and I'll be your assistant manager for Doncaster Rovers.
I'm glad you had a good time, because like I've been to like Newcastle, great night, great people. York, a beautiful place as well, great night out. Donny. Where else have I been? I've never been out in like Carlisle or anything like that. I was up at Sunderland the other day, went out there, had a lovely meal out, and a little place just near the Hilton Hotel there by the ground. Because
I rang you while you were at the Sunderland game, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm commentating at like 3:30 and my phone's going, and I look and see Dav. I'm thinking, I know exactly why he's ringing. I'm on my way to Donny.
I was literally in the pub in Doncaster going, I'm going to ring Nathan.
Why is he not answering?
What's he doing at this time?
I like text, I'm on the commentary down. Oh shit, sorry mate. Sorry. I was like, yeah. So what did your partner do? Where did she go? Did she have a...
She's still got hers to come. She's going to Bath.
Okay.
Which will be a nice hen do there.
Yeah, Bath's a great night out as well.
I can't imagine she's going to be doing anything with Bath City there, but...
no. Or Bath Rugby.
But
my first ever night out with my mucker, he's an American now, Paul Kenningale. And we went to Bath in his Vauxhall Viva. And I was 15. And I had to, put a few clothes on, which made me look a bit older. But I got in. Nice. No idea.
But it's a good night out there as well.
It's a great night out.
So she's
do you know what I would say? These places that I used to frequent, Bournemouth, Bath.
Bournemouth was one on my top favourites to have gone to.
Great night out, right? Let's go to the Mixing Championships down in Bournemouth. So they're all great places, but sadly, with the erosion of like what's going on in society, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just not as affluent. Like I look at Newport as an example. Like someone sent me a text of something going on in Newport the other day and how badly it's gone. And then they sent me a text of a clip of a video from the 1980s. I think it was like 86, and it was in John Frost Square. And just no youth running around, right? Like I remember, like I had friends who were in like the Newport Youth Firm. You know what I mean? We used to hang in John Frost Square and stuff like that. But everyone was like, used to think, we didn't have a pot to pee in them days, but it seemed to be more harmony then. Do you know what I mean? Where kids were probably more controlled by their parents than they had today, right? So, yeah. It's sad what's happened, mate. It's sad what's happened, but I'm glad you had a great time.
I did.
I'm glad you had a great time.
Also, the options were for Stag Do's. It could have been like you Liverpool, like obviously Liverpool weren't. I don't think we're playing.
Great night out,
but great night out.
Absolutely
Brighton, all good nights out. However, I didn't want to go there because we could go there and have a great night anytime.
Yeah.
Whereas that's why I wanted your Bournemouth. Yeah. I would have quite liked Ipswich. I said, but
Norwich.
Doncaster nailed it.
Yeah.
So
Doncaster.
Oh,
Real talk, all sports. Salute
Doncaster.
Banging. And I'm glad that people at the club or even the club shop were so nice.
They should be really proud of themselves. As a club,
yeah,
incredible.
So shout out to Doncaster Rovers, yeah.
Big shout. I'll be going again.
Yeah.
I'll be going again.
And Frankie Sinclair, if you're there, keep up the good work, bro. Do see you on LinkedIn doing all that good work with those kids. Brilliant.
moving from Doncaster, down from Doncaster back to London.
Yeah.
Because at the Royal Albert Hall,
Yeah.
it was a boxing match that took place.
Yeah. Natasha Vieira-Lauren. Did you watch the fight? Have you seen the fight?
I've seen the fight. She is...
Cobra. That's what her nickname should be. Okay. The Cobra.
Because you love your boxing, don't you?
I love boxing. And I've met Lauren. I've done a thing for BBC Sports Personality of the Year with her. Went to her house, met her partner in the area where her grandparents lived and what have you. Lovely girl. Went to the gym in Pontypool where she was working out. And, you know, like, you see it on TV. She's faster than what you see on TV. It's even faster in real life.
Really?
Yeah. And she's just in and out. But what I liked about her style now, because when she was amateur in the Olympics and all that, that style was perfect for, right? Because the idea, I always say, her face hasn't got a mark because she don't get hit. Like, why do you want to be cut up? You know, it's not the idea. Like, she's got it bang nailed on, right? Hit and don't get hit. That is the idea of boxing. It's not hit and let's see how hard I can take a punch or whether I can take a punch. The idea is not to take any punches. And she takes a lack of damage. But what I like now is that amateur style of the in and out. She's now sort of refined it and strengthened it, where like she'd go in, she'd throw a couple of combinations, and Natasha just couldn't cope with her speed, right? And what I loved is when Natasha was then throwing and Lauren was pulling away, she just cuffed her with a left hook or something like that. Like, it was like I'm surrounded. That was the sort of overwhelming, sort of overriding sort of my thought process was like, it's like three of them fighting Natasha because she's and then her footwork. I was like, go on, girl.
It was.
Go on.
You see another level of like athleticism.
She's on a different planet, mate. When you look at the sort of career in other sports, football and I think kickboxing or Thai boxing, kickboxing I think it is, she's always been at the top. No matter what sport she's done, she's always been brilliant at it. Yeah. So, you know, when she went through the Olympic run and got the gold medal, because people think that's easy. That is so hard to do. Just getting on the Olympic team is hard to do, right? But then what I love about her is she's got that Ali thing going on. She says what she does and she does it. I love that confidence in a woman like that to come out and say, and she was so cool, like the gloves are off and all that. You watch that, right?
Yeah,
and she's going, I can't do that. I'm laughing. She just sat like so nonchalantly. Too young, too quick, too fast, too good. It's just too good.
It's as you say, she's another level. It's incredibly hard, but she makes it look easy and come across as like simple.
Yeah. The idea is to hit and not get hit.
Yeah.
So she takes it to the maximum, right? And that's why she looks so good. I'm like, and now she's stronger as well with her. She still has the speed, but more punch power. Because even when she wasn't really trying to dig her, Natasha, she's just clipping her. They were hurtful punches, like, you know what I mean? Like, Natasha's face was bobbed up a bit, good and proper. I was just thinking, imagine if they did go for 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to go there. She was brilliant, mate. I was so pleased for her to, you know, unite all the titles as well. Because we see, also what we see in boxing, I think it's what's turned a lot of people off, my sons, myself, is like now they're going, Anthony Joshua, V. Tyson Fury, and Eddie Hearn and people like that trying to talk. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's done. None of them are champions. You want to put on box office? I'm not paying you 20 quid to watch that. Do you know what I mean? I'll pay you 20 quid if there's a belt on the line and we're going right toe for toe. The best British man or the best man in boxing in the world or wherever. I want to see them at the prime. That's what the UFC does, right? Boxing is too much, right? Is too much we got to make money.
It's a marketing game.
Yeah, it's like,
then,
but you're forgetting what the sport is.
Yeah.
Right? And this is just my opinion. And like, I've never boxed. I don't want to get my nose broken and all that, right? But if you choose to go in there, like, at some point, your idea is you get to the top and then you defend your title, right? It's like the Eubanks and Ben thing now. I'm like, bro, you're not even right weights. It's just living on the history of your fathers. And it's gone too far, that sort of, that foolishness that's gone on there, right? But I love UFC because the best has to fight the best. And he not only has to fight the best, or she not only has to fight the best, you have to fight, you're number one, you have to fight 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And that's considered, right, I've cleared it out.
Do you think with Bryce that there's an element that she doesn't do that all the others do in the terms of, you look at like Eubank Ben, you look at Fury, Usyk, Joshua, all that. There's such a fogginess of this is entertainment.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like, no, I'm a prime athlete who's going to be the best.
Yeah.
As opposed to entertainment, let's make the biggest show on earth for the fact.
But I mean, a lot of it, you can't blame the fighters because it's their management staff, right? That's why the box always says, like, when they finish the fight, who's next? And like, I talk to my team and they'll decide and I just go in and fight them, right?
Who is Price's manager? Because I don't think I even know, which might be a sign of a good manager.
Yeah. But I also think when you're coming into the sport and you're chasing the belt, I think what she said, what was really clever, was I could have won a title on my debut. And I think that really griped Natasha, thinking, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Really? That's so disrespectful. But, you know, it didn't get into sort of that, you know, argument sort of style, sort of build up. They were quite respectful of one another. In fact, very respectful. But, you know, I did think to myself, like, I love seeing young people coming into the sport and then their management team matching them with, you know, I understand you got to beat journey people on your way up, right? But she's not really done that. She's almost hit the ground running.
Well, she's been recognised as being unbelievably good.
Right. And if you win gold medals in the Olympics, i.e. Lennox Lewis, Muhammad Ali, these people go on to have great careers. So I think it's the beginning of something really special for Lauren. I really do, because, like I say, the way of fighting style, it's like, it's a bit of Bruce Lee in there. Like, it's a bit of everything. Yeah. It's like so well adapted to winning without getting like punished. And I think that's what people say, she, you know, we'll have to see her in like when she's under the cosh or so. Yeah. But if you've got a style that never puts you under the cosh, why would you want to be under the cosh? Like, do you want to take a punch just to see if you can take a punch?
Because when you say that style, immediately I think of Calzaghe, Mayweather, guys who had such a career because they just didn't get...
Yeah, but Joe don't punch, he slaps. Jeff Lacey. Hoo-wee. That's still one of my favorite fights of all time, boy. Joe was floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. Best fight ever. One of the best fights ever. Calzaghe with Lacey. Before your time, Dav.
Was a little bit before my time.
Yeah,
but
before your time.
He retired as soon as I kind of understood what the art of boxing is.
Yeah, out of boxing. And that's what I would say. It's two great examples you give there, Mayweather and Calzaghe.
Thank you very much.
The art of fighting without fighting, as they say in Enter the Dragon.
And it means long career as well.
Well, why do you want to get your head biffed around and your brain shook? It's, is it Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Never really took punches in, like, up until the middle of his career, until he went to jail and come back out is when he started taking punches. But before that, he'd get clipped here and there, but his, customato, bob and weave.
Yeah.
Hit and don't get hit. Muhammad Ali, hit and don't get hit. You know what I mean? Mayweather, hit, don't get hit. That's the ultimate. You don't want to be in a bar brawl, do you, if you don't have to be?
Yeah. It's interesting you said about the journeyman as well, because you look at who probably the the biggest marketing boxes are at the moment in kind of the male boxing, I would say are probably Adam Azim.
Lost to me the other day, I think.
Did he?
I'm sure Azim lost his last fight.
Because he's been battering people, and this shows I'm still not quite there with knowing everything there. But the journey I've seen, which is probably from what the marketers want to see, is incredible.
Yeah.
Other one, Ben Whittaker.
Yeah.
Who also, whether he lost or not, he got clotheslined over the top rope. He'd be out the Royal Rumble in no time. But another one as well, and it's interesting because with someone like Lauren Price, you watch her and you're like, I feel like I know her.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas these guys, you've seen them for so long and so much of them, you're still like, I don't quite know them.
Yeah. I think like whenever that's what I liked about Lauren. You're taking on a champion so early. And I understand, listen, boxers need probably 10, 12 fights before they get there in normal, but that kind of lends itself to how good Lauren is.
Yeah.
That she truly believed, I think, that she could step in first fight and win a world title. And like on that show, I think she would have.
Yeah.
You know, quite comfortably as well. Do you know what I mean? So I just love the fact that when the boxers come in and you're chasing the title is when you're saying, I'll fight anybody, right?
Yeah.
And then your management, when you get the title, you know, Mick done it with Rocky, didn't he? My job is to look after you, so I hand pick the opponents and this and that. But, you know, at the end of the day, fighters will fight anybody. Yeah. That's the beauty of the sport. Right? And yes, they got to make money. It's prize fighting. They got to make money. They got to make more money. You know what I mean? I'd say like maybe your management take a bit of a cut and, you know, you make even more money again. You know, sorry. But, you know, a little controversial, but hey, you know, it's the fighters going in there and get biffed up, right? You know, it's that. But I'd like to see that in boxing where, you know, if you're a title holder, then you can't avoid fighting any of the top three in like a, I don't know, 18-month, 2-year period. You have to, if you beat the first one, you have to fight the second and the third within like a 2.5-year period, 2-2.5-2-year period, say. Because 3 fights in 2 years is not unrealistic, is it?
No. 3 fights 2 years, not at all. Like, because we were saying earlier, like what you really like is UFC. That it is, as soon as you've got that belt, you are being hunted down. Hunted. Which is what we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah. It was like, look at Adesanya, right? Baddest boy, right?
Which is when we first met, was at a time where I was kind of just on that train of enjoying the UFC. Yeah. I kind of in what it would have been 2015 was when McGregor came onto the scene.
Yeah. I've been watching it since Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock.
You know he went into wrestling after.
Was he before or after Chuck Liddell?
Before. Chuck Liddell and Tito, he's probably 10 years before them. So he went into wrestling afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so I got on the train of McGregor because obviously he created such a buzz. Yeah. And then I was in Brazil when he fought Aldo, who Aldo was known as being...
He was my legend, man. I love that.
Incredible. Yeah. And then you expanded to see like you understand the weight classes, and then you understand the personalities, and then you put them all together and you realize who's in everyone's class. And then you saw Israel Adesanya, who was incredible. And then when I talked to you about like, I'm starting to enjoy the UFC and the art of it, you were like, it's so competitive, apart from with one category. You have Israel Adesanya, who is a nightmare. He was untouchable.
Until he called out his mate from the kickboxing world, and he got himself out of I think he was in Pereira. This is.
Yeah.
I think he was in a bad drunk, seeing it. My kid tells me he was in a bad drunk, seeing what Israel said, and said, "Right, I'm coming, and I'm going to join the UFC, and I'm going to come for the belt,
Yeah.
and I'm going to beat you." And that's exactly what he did.
And incredible fighter he is as well.
Oh, scary.
He's
man.
got that
scary dude, man.
And it's that saying, you can see it in their eyes, can't you?
He's like he wears the Indian sort of dress. He's like, you can see him being a warrior, a true warrior back in the day.
Kind of indigenous
headdress.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, back in the day, like your tribe v his tribe. Instead of us all dying, your head man v our head man, and whoever wins the battle. He's the guy you push into the ring and say, "Go on."
Yeah, I get knocked out looking at him. I look at him. I just like, like a possum. I just safest thing to do, act dead.
Yeah, I mean, a terrific fighter, but listen, it just proves the point. There's always someone better.
Yeah, and we say Pereira, incredible fighter. Now it's just been knocked off his podium as well.
Yeah, what's his name?
Magomedov.
And he's just technically every skill. Whereas I think Pereira standing is frightening, not so great on the ground, and not so great in the dirty boxing. The stand-up sort of.
Yeah.
The dirty boxing, not so great. So I love seeing them when they're so well-rounded, though.
Especially in that size.
Yeah, like he was amazing, and probably could have pushed it and gone for the knockout, because Pereira seemed to be like, after 3 rounds, he almost like lost his belief. Now Pereira's good if he's coming forward on you.
Yeah,
and he built up heavy steam.
That left hook that went to Pereira, and he kind of stepped back and just wobbled a little bit.
Yeah.
How he stayed on his feet, though, man alive.
Yeah, you've seen the left hook he's dished out to people. Right? They just go to sleep.
Yeah.
But, he's a tough hombre. And I had hear rumors, mine, that he was one taking it as serious. He was like, lost a bit of his desire. So my youngest son, Jude, he's mad on it as well. So he was saying, like, apparently he's been out and like not taking it serious. Maybe not training as hard. And he didn't look as cut. That's always a telltale sign.
Yeah.
He was in shape. He didn't look as cut. And he got dealt with, simple as.
The second best.
Yeah.
Kind of the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I like Pereira, and I kind of wanted him to win.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
I love the changing of the guard, though. Because if I was a betting man, and I'm not a betting man, but I would have betted Magomedov. I wouldn't have bet on Pereira. Although when I watched the UFC build-up, they were saying, like, most of them were going for Pereira. It was only Bisping was saying, no. Michael Bisping saying every time, like, watch this, like, this guy is so well-rounded, he's huge. There's no real height difference in him. I think it was like half inch between them. He's got quicker hands. He can knock you out. He's a great wrestler. He's good stand-up, dirty boxing.
Fast.
He's got it all.
So fast.
He's got it all. So
yeah. And in this time where I've enjoyed the UFC, so for clarification, if you don't watch UFC, it is really fascinating, because you've got a lot of fighters from the same area of kind of the mountains of Russia, a place called Dagestan. And you probably wouldn't hear about that place in any other sport apart from UFC.
Yeah, but they're good at wrestling as well. Wrestling is a big sport there.
So wrestling is their sport there?
Yeah. because Khabib, if you watch videos of Khabib, there's videos of Khabib when he was a baby.
Khabib is one of the pioneers of.
He's the most famous.
He's the most famous of these guys.
Yeah.
From Dagestan, he's the one who
beat Conor
McGregor.
Yeah.
Quite convincingly.
Yeah, will never lost the fight.
And
but if I said to you, there's video footage of him when he's about 6 years old wrestling with a baby bear for like an hour. His dad's got him wrestling. Seriously, a real bear. It's not like a big, obviously, but it's a baby grizzly bear. They're wrestling around. And obviously, bears stand on their 2 feet. And they're strong and they can wrestle and what have you. And he's trying to and the bear's got him in locks and he's got the bear. It's like, it's amazing. It's just a different way of training your child to become like world champion. Unbelievable.
Yeah. They seem like all right people. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd say that all right people because they could end me in a couple of seconds.
Careful what you say.
Yeah. But like they come across as like an element of politeness, like
well respectful, very spiritual.
Equally, you cross the line with them.
Yeah,
they will. Not
I think
be
that's
happy.
what Conor McGregor done with Khabib.
Yeah,
he said something about his father. I think his father had passed, and he said something about his religion as well. Yeah, he's Muslim.
Which Khabib was always very level-headed, very,
and then he lost his shit. Bam! In one fight, right?
And just
he jumped out of the cage and jumped into the crowd.
Yeah, literally jumped out of a cage.
And even Dana said to him, like, "You cause a riot, like you're not getting your belt." And he's saying, "No, give me." And like Dana, I'd tell him, like, "No, you're not getting your belt."
What is it about those guys over there who would? So I guess fundamentals of wrestling, right? Mm-hmm. But then they must just train, have this mindset.
It's the path you walk as well, like a lot of the Brazilians, you know.
Because they come from the jiu-jitsu side of things.
And the favelas, the lifestyle is tough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think if you're brought up, like we see in rugby, like there's a sort of a hierarchy. The posher boys go to the top of schools and they become rugby players and they're tough. I don't look at those boys as tough. I look at if tough is like a tough upbringing. Yeah. Right? So, like, I'm from Ely, moved to Underwood, moved to Ringland. Like, you gotta be tough in those areas. Right? Yeah. And then when we play rugby against like Caerleon or Baysleg, you know, those were posher boys. They haven't, and it's no fault or anything like that. It's just a different path you walk and you see different things. Like boys in Baysleg don't walk across the estate and get chased by like a pack of dogs and stuff like that.
For general context, like you say you've got to be tough. What have you got to be tough for? Just
mentally, you're just tough because like you're not used to getting anything you want. There's a big thing. You understand, like, more times than often when you ask for things, it's going to be a no, right? It's a mindset more than anything else. I mean, if you're brought up in a life of luxury, life is easier. Yeah, right. If you're brought up in like Kazakhstan, Dagestan, like in the mountains, you've got a very basic standard of living, and life is tough because getting food, you don't go to the, like, for instance, we'll go to the supermarket and get a piece of fish. They'll go to the lake and fish and bring it home and cook it. It's you know what I'm saying? It's a different life. It's a different life. It's the same as like my father in Jamaica and things like that. They had a tougher life than what we experience as a tougher life. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, you know.
And then with the guys from Dagestan, they've also come together to use that toughness, utilize it in the business. What is the UFC? Yeah, because the UFC, as great as much as it is a league, it is a business. They've come in and they thought, this is where we can belong. And essentially take over.
But the Brazilians are the same. The Brits got their stable. The Americans got huge stable of fighters. The Africans, whether they're residing in the US or wherever, everyone has their stint.
And it'll all come round again, won't it?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the greatest, I think, is probably, there'd be arguments for Anderson Silva.
Yeah. Who's Brazilian, isn't he?
Brazilian, yeah. There's George St. Pierre, the Canadian.
Canadian, which there's not many Canadian fighters.
Yeah, but
he's
was
like French Canadian,
unreal. And what a gentleman, one of the greatest. But one of my favorites is he got honoured on the weekend as well. Is Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Man, loved that dude since he was young. Left and then come back to the UFC and still. Like him and Rory McDonald fight, still one of the greatest, if not the greatest UFC fight. I suppose Forrest and I can't remember the other guy's name, Stefan, I think, when they were launching the UFC and they had this sort of band brawling final. But still, I think my favourite fight ever is got to be either Chael Sonnen and Spider, Anderson Silva, or Ruthless Robbie Lawler, and
And one fight that's coming up soon, which doesn't involve any Brazilians or any guys from Dagestan, is Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett. Really interesting because for a long time, people...
Paddy the Baddy.
A lot of people were expecting Michael Chandler to fight Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he's calling him out.
And was calling him out, saying, I want you... And this wasn't necessarily for a belt or anything like that. It was just...
No, it's a payday.
I want you for a lot of money. I want you at your heaviest.
Yeah.
I want you at your baddest.
Yeah.
And let's just go at it.
Yeah.
But it never happened.
Okay, Chandler wouldn't beat boy
McGregor?
I don't think so.
Wow, okay.
At his, not at his finest.
At his, I guess it is fine. I'd agree with you at his finest, but
now
after Conor's living the high life.
Yeah, I think it's like fighting. There comes a time where the desire starts to fade, right? And
kind of where the music leaves you.
Yeah, you can convince yourself that I still got it, but I think like what Conor done in the game was outrageous, right? Outrageous, but at his best and at Michael's best, Chandler's best, Conor deals with him all day and twice on Sundays, mate, because he could take a punch, but he was almost poetic, effortless. Like when he done Jose Aldo, like Aldo was one of my favorites of all time, right?
In a matter of seconds, right?
I think it's 20 seconds, something like that. Aldo rushes in first and he just gives him a straight down the pipe. Good night, God bless. Doesn't even jump on him and like give him the after. It's just one punch. It's like, see you later. Hell of a fighter.
And then, so where do you see it with Paddy the Baddy?
And Michael, I think Paddy does him. The only thing I'd say you've got to worry with Paddy is he got a tendency to put his chin in the air when he goes. Sometimes when he's under pressure, he'll go backwards and he swings, but his chin is in the air. It's a habit he's had since I've seen him fight from day one.
But he's the real deal.
But he can take a blow, and he's got giant set of malacas. He is, you know what I mean? And he's gutsy, and he can fight. Don't get it twisted, mind.
Yeah.
He can fight, and he's brilliant on the ground, got great ground game. And he cuts weight. Cuts a lot of weight to get down. I'm not sure what the weight they'll be at.
Yeah.
But Paddy the Baddy, he's the real deal, man. He's a bad boy.
Nice.
So if I was putting my money, I'd put it on Paddy. Yeah. Put on Paddy. I suppose there's a bit of a British thing kicking in there as well. But Michael, great fighter, but he tends to lose the bigger fights, Chandler.
Paddy's going to want this.
I just love him as a fighter, man, because he just gets the end. It's the whole package: the entertainment, the cheekiness, he's got great for a one-liner. He will. He just like he got it all. Like he's proper scouse.
Yeah.
I love him. He's one of my faves. Yeah. I love so many of the fighters in the UFC.
Sausage
I love
purchases have gone up a long way since Paddy's been around for the amount of insults he's given other fighters.
Yeah. But he still, he can back it. That's what I love. He can back it up. Great fighter.